More Africa. On tonight's episode of Ignite with Happiness, we're talking about the art of networking, the need for
Yes.
global connectivity. And with us tonight is our amazing guest that is going to be educating and enlightening us on how to network. So, before we go straight into the discussion of tonight, if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, do hit that subscribe button to be a part of this community. And also, don't forget to share this to everyone you know needs it. Thank you so much. So, our amazing guest, can you please introduce yourself?
Okay. Good evening from Nigeria. I wear many hats. I would just like to introduce myself as a development strategist and the founder of Ascendity and Successful Living Africa community. Thank you.
We are so honored to have you here tonight. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining us. Yes.
It's my pleasure.
So, mhm. So tonight we're talking about the art of networking, which
hmm
is the need for global connectivity. What do you have to say about this topic? When you first saw it, what came to your mind?
Okay. So first off, the world is a global village, especially thanks to the innovation of technology, the, the introduction of social media platforms. So networking is not, in tech now, there's something called networking, which like the connecting of cables and internet networks. But in this context, we are not connecting cables, we are connecting human beings, right? So
Yeah.
when I heard about the topic, what came to my mind is the act of building relationships on a global scale. Because networking is not just about who you know, but who knows you and the value that you can contribute and draw from that relationship.
Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. Can you
Yes.
please throw more light on human connectivity?
Okay, so first off, we must understand that humans connect with humans, and this is why you see popular brands they still make use of ambassadors because that helps give them a face to the brand. And that is important because people connect with people. So in that manner, if you want to build relationship, you must learn to connect with the human side of people, not just because you want a business deal, not because you want um help or support or opportunities, whatsoever it is that you want. I have this quote where I say that value will always return to its source. So if you're going to connect with people, the best way to connect with people is through value, right? Through
Mm.
offering value, because nobody wants a liability. Everybody wants, you
Mhm.
know, what they can get, right? So you can plug into that and leverage giving them something. And there's this thing about human beings where when you give them something or when you are of value or help to them, they tend to want to find ways to repay back. Yeah. So say for
Yeah.
example, I do goods to you and you so much appreciate it. One of the first things that will come to your mind is how can I repay this person back? And then you hear people say things like, oh, how can I ever repay you? That's a reflection of what's in their mind. They are thinking, my God, this is so huge to me, and I really want to find a way to appreciate you back. But the issue is that in this day and time, a lot of people focus too much on what they can get than what they can give. And there's an ancient scripture that says, if you sow, you reap, right? Whatever you sow, you would
Yeah.
reap. It did not say where you sow, it said what you sow. So people go about wanting to connect with people, and then they are expecting that if I give you, for example, $1,000, then I should get $1,000 or $2,000 back from you. But it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes it's not where you reap or where you sow that you reap from. So I think the
Mm.
whole essence of human connectivity is to be able to be of mutual value to one another right? Because each of us need all of us, and all of us need each of us. One is too small to bet anything, of greatness. So it takes a collaborative effort to be able to be of impact, to be of, relevance, to be of influence in the world at large. So yeah.
Mm. That's really amazing and quite insightful. There are times
So I
that
didn't get.
people just
Okay.
want. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you now.
There are a lot of people out there that all they are after what they can get from you. Undermine the fact that connectivity is not built in one way of giving. If it's only one person that is just pouring in and pouring in, that person is pouring in at some point will worn out. And
Yeah, sure.
that person will tend to absent from you. So if one is trying to build connectivity, like you said, don't just focus on what you can. You should also focus on what you can give as well. Thank you so much for that. Really
Okay.
interesting,
My pleasure.
insightful. Yeah. What else can you say about? Say something about focusing on what you can give rather than what you can get. I've also said something about. Can you throw more light on it? Because there are so many
Okay.
people out there now all over
Okay.
the world watching and are not really sure of they can give. We all want to with actually knowing how we can truly give. Can you please
Yeah.
throw more light on how we can actually serve others, focusing more on how we can get from them?
Okay, so if I get your question right, you said if I could throw more light into how people can give rather than get
Yeah.
from the relationship. Okay, so
Yes.
there are so many ways you can contribute to a relationship. First off, just in case you're just joining, right? I previously said that if you give value, value would surely return to its source. It may not return from the same place that you invested that value to, but somehow, someday, in some way or mysterious way, you would get that value. Okay. Please confirm if you can hear me. I think I have
I
a network
can
issue.
hear you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So the consign now should be to focus on how you can contribute, because I know I've made mention of, oh, you have to find a way to contribute. I think my screen is blank. Please let me
Yes,
know
it
if
is.
confirm.
Volume is low as well.
Oh, uh, I guess it's network.
Yeah, I guess it is. But you go ahead. Try to go on audio. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm trying to see if I can, if there's any way I can. Oh, my camera is just static. Okay, so I was saying that in terms of contributing to relationships, right, in networking now. Or let me see if I can. Is there a way I can exit and join back? Because I think my screen just hung.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, better now. Can you see my screen?
Yes, 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 I
Okay,
can.
you can see me, right?
Yes, sure.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Is the volume better now?
Yeah, it's better as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, how do you contribute? There are different ways you can contribute to any relationship in different level. For example, when you meet someone for the first time, say at an event, and maybe it's someone that you really admire, say the person who was a speaker at the event. First thing is there are chances that you may not just be seeing that person
for the first time by shock. You must have seen the person on the flyer that made you come to the event, or you must have heard about the person somewhere that make or that give you the prompt to want to connect with that person in that event. So one of the first thing that I would recommend, which has seriously worked for me, is to get a gift. Again, an ancient scripture in the book of Proverbs says that a man's gift maketh room or way for him. So I have seen this happen a number of times where I go to a speaker or someone that I admire and I go with a gift and they're so amazed because majority of the times people come to them and compliment them and the next thing that they're saying is, oh, I want to connect with you, ma, I want to connect with you, sir, can you mentor me? And that's like very cliche and very, you know,
Very
mediocre,
basic.
right? Average way
Yes,
people want
yeah.
to connect with anybody. And when you hear that long enough, that just becomes a red flag to connecting with anybody, right? So you have to do
Yeah.
something that is different, something that is different from what
Mm.
everybody would usually do, which is standing out from the crowd, get them a gift, right? That in itself has a way of just placing you as someone that is different from every other person. In fact, even if you want the person to mentor you, you don't have to approach the person by saying mentor me. All you just have to do is to compliment. Maybe the person gave a speech or the person dressed and you're like, oh, I've seen you somewhere before, or I have seen some of your work, admire your work, and I got this gift for you. And people like, oh wow, really? You got this gift for me? Oh, thank you very much. That point, if you notice, most of the time, right, you kind of gain their attention. They would want to focus
Yeah.
on you. They want to like hear what you
Yes.
have to say after you give them that gift. And then you can just ask a question. So if you've been following them well enough, you know their area of expertise and you know why you want them to be in your life or why you want them to mentor you or whatever it is that you want them to do or whatsoever reason that makes you want to connect with them. All you just have to do is to ask a question, right? Ask a question in that regard and let them give you an answer that when you apply, you can give them feedback. So if sometimes, so there are people I connect with, I don't ask for their phone numbers. I just like, oh, can I chat you up on Instagram or on LinkedIn? Can we, that's like more relaxed way to connect to anybody than just asking for their phone number, upfront. Yeah, because there are chances that when you do that, they would tell their PA if they have a PA that, oh, collect it from my PA, and once they say PA, that really gets really dicey. So you want to focus on just getting them to answer your question and to take note of you as a person. After that, work on that feedback that they've given to you, that answer, and then revert back to them. Oh, I did this, and did this, like you said, and I got this result. Do you know how excited or how exciting it is for you to do what someone told you to do and you're giving them a feedback? We have a lot of talkers, a lot of listeners, but we have very little doers in this world, right? So we've had speakers, oh, people who just tell you, this is what you need to do to solve your problem, and the person say, oh, thank you very much, he's so appreciated, and then 2 months later they're asking how far have you gone, and they're giving you one excuse, oh, my uncle swallowed shovel, oh, this one happened, I couldn't really follow, but I would try. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So
Yeah.
this is one of the reasons why people tend to attach price tags to their mentorship, to their courses, to their consultation, because they've noticed that people are generally not serious, and people tends to, on a general note, tends not to pay attention to what they do not pay for. So take the answer, work on it, get a feedback, give it back to them. They'll be more excited to want to converse with you. Oh, you did this. Oh, that's nice. So you can do this next, right? From that, a relationship is already building. You don't have to name it or tag it as mentorship for it to be that.
Yeah.
And that's just one scenario. Another way to give value is when you connect with people, beyond asking them what they do, right? You can ask them what kind of opportunities they are looking for, what project are they working on at the moment, what are their interests, what are the things that they are looking at, or what they are currently building. So in that light, when you exchange contact, when you go back, find opportunities around that interest and send it to them. They'll be like,
Mm.
oh, that's so thoughtful. Like, oh, you actually thought about me when you think about this opportunity. Yeah, that's a way to say, okay, this person is a giver, not just a taker, and they want to draw people who thinks about them when there are opportunities, right? Another way again is to recommend them. You've asked them about what they do. A lot of people ask you or ask people about what they do and do nothing with it. They just have it as head knowledge as, oh, okay, when I do need this person in my life, I will reach out so that I can get a cheaper job or a free service. That's a really poor way to get about networking. Yeah. When you
Yeah.
know about what they do, you can ask them, okay, this is what you do. Awesome. So when you find people who actually need that service, connect them. There's nothing as maybe there are a couple of things, right? But it's so sweet. It's so nice to hear when people recommend jobs to you. Like it's just like, wow, you actually thought about me. Jobs? Are you serious? Right? When you recommend first, second, third, fourth, fifth job to that person, they will not want to let you go. In fact, they will start posting about you
Yeah.
that this person is very nice, recommend job. And they do that for multiple reasons. One, they do that so that other people would learn, right, and want to recommend jobs to them, or yeah, recommend jobs to them too. But in the other light, when they do that, their networks also get to see that, oh, there's this person that is actually a value giver, and they'll start looking at your direction, right? The day that you
Yeah.
eventually want to connect with them, they'll be more open to want to connect with you, because they've seen that, oh, this other friend that they have, right, you are someone who supports what they do. I'll give you an example. So there's a friend that I have now. He's a celebrity friend, right? How did we get to connect? So I had an event one time. No, not my event. Someone else event. Should I be specific? Should I be specific? No. Right. So there was an event. I was working with a friend to, help execute the event project. And this friend was always posting about it. I was like, oh, Aisha, thank you so much. You know how you just, followed me to this place, made the job easy, how you just took it upon yourself to, volunteer and help me with this work for free, and you're not even charging. Like, she talked about it too much that this other person started like, who's this guy self that this person is just talking about? I would like this kind of person in my space, right? I want to connect with this person. And when I finally, when we connected on Facebook, right, we just had like random chats and it was very brief. So one time she was coming to the city where I was as at that time, and we met and I was like, oh, this is so I didn't even need to introduce myself. She already knows who I am or who I was, and we spoke and connected. So from there, that's how the relationship, went further, and we became friends and close friends and all of that, right? On a normal day, it would have been difficult to approach this person because this person has
Yeah.
thousands of followers on social media. I mean, not 10,000, not 20,000, right? So these are
Mm-hmm.
people that they already have like some kind of presence. And with those kind of presence comes some kind of walls that is set around them that a normal person or an average person or just anybody cannot just enter their space, yeah. But because I was able to show value to a friend who I already have in my network, and it was so good that this person could not help but post about it. It attracted someone else, and I believe that's the same way other people got to connect. In fact, at the same event when I was there, I volunteered, right, to help with the convener of the project. And when I walked up to my seat, I sat down, and then there was someone beside me was like, Isusa, I know you. Do you know me? That's how I didn't know that person. That was the first time. But that person happened to be, one person who has been a key player in my space and in my life. But how did that happen? Most of those people got to know about me because of one person that already have all of these people in their networks. So those are like two ways to contribute value to whosoever that you want to be in their space. And just, a quick note, I'll say be intentional. Do not focus on quantity, but on quality, because relationships can be expensive to maintain, right? So don't stretch yourself too thin from the beginning, trying to collect contact from everybody. Like that would really not be helpful because you get exhausted, you burn out because you are trying to keep up with this person, trying to keep up with that person, trying to chase, and it doesn't always work well when you are chasing people, right? It just makes you look desperate, and that's not how you want to seem to whosoever that you want to connect with. So yeah, I hope that helps.
Wow, this is a lot. Thank you so much for all these key points that you have mentioned. So you were really enlightening. Thank you so much. One thing that I want to quickly ask is, or should I say, talk about? I quickly want to talk about is how important it is, how important is networking to the global stage, this stage we are currently in. There are so many things that people tend to do lately. So many things have been playing in people's hands that requires global visibility, and don't just know to go out. They don't know how to get to that stage that they should be in to be able to put out that thing that's supposed to be put out. Let me take it to the spiritual aspect now. God wants to take his word to the global nation of the world, the globe. But can't take it there if you don't have visibility. What can one do to be able to attain that out there? How should you network? You go about?
Okay. Thank you so much for that question. So, by the way, if you are in this live session, if you are here, just comment where you are joining in from, and then comment the word networking because that's the subject of conversation right now. We're discussing about networking, the art of networking on a global level, right? So, if you are on this live, just comment, where you're joining in from, and then also the word networking. And by the way, just like Mrs. Happiness mentioned earlier, if you've not subscribed to a More Africa YouTube channel, please endeavor to do that right now because you'll be having a lot of other live sessions like this. And trust me, this is a place that you want to be. So, getting back to your question, you made mention of, bringing it to the spiritual aspect, bringing God into the equation. Yeah, so there's a scripture that I love so much, and it says, "Let your light so shine before men." He didn't say hide your lights. He didn't say, whatever that you're doing, just keep it to yourself. There is the need to first be good at what you do. And now there's a school of thought about where you need to, chase after people that you need in life. But I would say do that, but not to the detriment of you not building on yourself or building something as a person. Because in any relationship, the major determining factor on or of how you are going to stay connected is the value that you have to offer or what exactly you're offering in that relationship. So beyond just saying hi, hello, how you doing, checking up on the person and discussing how their day went, which is at some level might be cool, but it has to be beyond that. There has to be something that binds that relationship. Maybe your the kind of knowledge that you have in an area. For example, maybe this person is an influencer and you are someone who is knowledgeable in the law, space. And sometimes there are things that happens that they would need like a lawyer, and that's where you come in, right? Or maybe you're a fashion designer and this person is someone who is say a corporate MC, and so they will need like different outfits, from time to time. And maybe at some point, because of your relationship, you're able to give them like a discount or able to give them like the best work for a really minimal fee compared to other fashion designers out there. So I would say first off, be good at what you do. Your light cannot shine if you do not have light to start with. Right? You need to have something that you're doing, something that you can contribute to other people. So you can't just say, "Oh, I'm doing nothing. I'm nowhere at the moment, and I just want to connect with people." You bit of nuisance value to them. Sorry to say,
Mm.
but it just doesn't work that way, right? If you are coming into somebody's life, the question to ask is why? What value are you bringing into their life? You must be able to answer this question. So this is why I advise and that I really encourage people to build something, to be good at something, be it writing, video, editing, content creation, sales, marketing, Facebook ads, whatever it is, law, finance, whatever. Yeah, just be good at something. Be really, really good. Be extremely good at it. That's a platform that would give you an edge to connecting with people, right? So have that first. And then when you do that, you don't do or build your expertise or build your skill level and then just lock yourself in your room or you know just be posting only on your WhatsApp status, right? You have to be able to strategically position yourself online. Social media is the great enabler, meaning that it enables you to be out there like other big brands and big celebrities and all of that. But you need to be really good at what you do, and you know you need to be willing to go beyond and above, beyond and above
Mm.
to stand out from the crowd. Now, you know, there's something this person says, Adeshina, where there was one of his videos I was listening to. I was like, Kai, Kai, Kai. He was talking about you see a lot of young people complain that they can't do video content, they are not this, they are not that, and he was trying to explain that in his early years of building, right, he had to do like 2 live sessions per day every single day, and he post like 2 TV
Wow.
content every single day. And he was making mention of another brand or another is a music artist that when he was trying to put up a music, he was creating 60 content per day, right? If you are not
Wow.
as visible, if you don't have as much finance to invest in marketing and ads, do what they are not doing, which is beat them in numbers what you lack in skills or in finance. So if you are someone who you are just starting out, you don't have a large budget for ads, that's quite all right. But do not now say that you still do not have large budget and you still do not have the discipline to be able to create content so much that when someone comes on a platform, they just see your content everywhere and they're like, who is this person? There's a music that trended, Ordinary by Alex something, right? And when the guy was giving his back end of that video, said he posted that video, I can't really remember the amount of times, but more than 50 times. Like when he did that
Wow.
music before it actually started trending. That he kept posting, 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 posting. Right? So sometimes we underestimate the need to do in numbers what we lack in skill, to do in numbers what we lack in finance. An average person wants to be visible, just think that is by posting once a day. I think at this stage in social media, if you really want to position yourself as an expert or position yourself for visibility, the minimum amount of content you should be posting on social media is 3 times. Less than that, you are still joking, honestly.
Wow.
Because
Yeah.
you know I was mentioning about Hadishina, and then he was saying that one time he was talking about he was showing his team that, see this billionaire, how many times has his team posted on social media? Say 5 times. This person, how many times? Say 8 times. This person, how many times? Like, then he now asks them, how many times have we that are still coming up? How many times have we posted on social
Mm.
media? Now you see where we are, right? So if we come to really, to be honest with ourselves, we would see that actually we deserve where we are. We deserve where we are. So you need to get angry. I think if this is all you get from this session is get angry with your life. If you are not where you want to be, you can change it. You are not a tree. you're not, planted in one place that you must stay there forever. If you're not okay with your life, you can change it. If you're not okay with your network, you can say, okay, I want to connect with this person, this person, this person. Note it down. Don't just leave your life to chance. Gone are the days where you just say, oh, what will be will be. No, if it's going to be, it's up to you to make it be. So there has to be that level of
Hmm.
intentionality mixed with discipline and determination, that whatever happens, I'm going to ensure that I do so much that it becomes difficult for me to not get lucky. When people talk about luck,
Hmm.
you can actually create luck. You can create luck by doing it
Yeah.
so many times that it's just unreasonable for you to not get luck. For example, right? Do you have more chances now? I need a response in the comment. Do you have more chances of clients reaching out to you when you post, say, 10 times a day than when you post one times a day? This is a no-brainer, right? When you post one times a day, Facebook or Instagram or whatever platform can just silence that post. But there's an amount of times you post that even the platform algorithm would be saying, who is this person? Just leave us alone now. You know, most of the
Hmm.
times, for example, I just concluded an event, hangouts with iSocial, and then I had this streak of posting 4, 3, 5 times a day, right? I was doing that back to back. One thing I noticed is that before I even started running ads, right, the amount of view on my profile went from less than 1,000 to over 5,000 just by normal posting in less than 2 weeks, right? So usually I'll just post and then I'll just leave it because I'm not trying to build there yet. But you get to be more visible when you get to put in the numbers. So at that point, would you get more lucky when you say, for example, when they are always pitching to your potential customers? If you meet 100 people who, and you pitch your business to them, what are the chances that you get one person? There's more chances. But if you meet one person or two person and then you get offended that, oh, they said no, you have just shoot yourself on the foot. So luck increases by the amount of times you are willing to do something without getting discouraged by the numbers of no that you get. So
Hmm.
in summary of this question, we talk about, you know, how to be visible. I think one of the things you can do is to get really intentional about what you want and be willing to put out more content. There's a
Yes.
phrase that is very popular that content is king. People would not know about what you do if you do not put yourself out there. Nobody is going to do this for you, right? It has to start from you, right? Yes, you can get to build a team later, or you can get to have friends that would help you share your content, but it actually starts with you. It has to, because sometimes even when you start something new, there are two times that people tend to cheer you up the most, and these are the times where you need it the least, which is at the beginning of you starting something. You must agree with me in the comment that there are times where you want to start a new brand, and then you put out posts, something is cooking, and then you tell your friends, help me share, and then you finally made the post about the unveiling of the brand, and you see all your friends congratulating you, like, oh, well done, and they're reposting. That's the beginning. 3 months in, the chances of them posting is very thin, right? But that is when you actually need them the most. So until you get to that point where they now start celebrating you because you, maybe just like the person who won Itabasi for Guinness Book of World Record. Before that time, there are many people who knew her but really did not send her. But when she did that record and she was now like on a global stage, you see people now congratulating her as if something. But
Yeah.
it goes back to a quote that someone posted, a senior friend, or should I say a senior colleague in the space, Lady K, and she made mention of something, and it was a post she made on WhatsApp, but it was actually someone else that said it, And the post was like this, or goes like this, that people would only celebrate you when celebrating you is a popular opinion. I take that again. People will only celebrate you, generally speaking now, when celebrating you is a popular opinion. But until that
Mm.
time, you have to be willing to celebrate yourself, push yourself, force yourself, be determined enough to ensure that you do what it is required to get to that point where people will generally celebrate you. So, yeah, thank you.
Mm. Wow. So many minds in this episode. Like, thank you so much so far. I've really learned a lot personally. I'm sure every single person that tuned in tonight is also learning so much. Thank you so much. Me, thank you everyone that is here with us tonight. If you are yet to subscribe to this channel, hit that subscribe button, be a part of this community, and also pray to everyone you need this, and also hit that like button. Thank you so much. So,
Yeah.
Aisha, what would you say about aligning yourself with purpose first before trying to even connect with people? Do you feel connectivity or networking is just, going to networking with people without even having focus of what they are actually supposed to be getting, or what they are networking about? Or I don't I let me just put it this way. Is it, how can someone actually align themselves first before looking out, getting people that are in that line, or people that are going to bless that person in that line?
Okay, so before I reiterate that question, right, I just want to say that it seems like your network is breaking a bit, but I still got the question, right? But the voice was breaking during when you were asking the question. So to get that right, you were saying that what is my take on the fact whether people should get aligned to their purpose before they start, actively networking, or if they can just go about networking without even having like an idea of their purpose, or stuff like that, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I think my own opinion, right? I could be wrong too, but it will be that sometimes it's both ways, right? There are times where, in fact, purpose can attract. Having a vision about life, about what you want to do or where you are meant to be, as a way of attracting people of similar visions or similar, purpose in that sense. So if you already know your purpose, perfect, fantastic, run with that, share that, communicate that to the people that you meet. In fact, who knows, you may be networking with a person that's going to help you get to the next level in terms of your purpose. On the other hand, if you do not know your purpose yet, it's not a yardstick to not say, oh, let me just stay inside my chair and just be there until I find my purpose. So the first and most recommended way I would say to get to know your purpose is through your maker, because again, right, it's only the manufacturer of a product that knows how a product is intended to function. Yeah, so you just have to find a way to cultivate that relationship with your maker now, in terms of God, right? And he's in that perfect position to show you and to reveal to you what your purpose is about. But another way is that each and every one of us, our purpose is embedded in us, in the sense that it's like a code that's been written in our system. And sometimes how you get to uncover and unveil this code is by exploring your options. I mean, exploring in a good way, right? Some people say, oh, I don't like doing this. Actually, they only say that because they've not explored enough to know whether or not they actually like it. Some people just do not like things because they've never tried it, and they just think that maybe I would not like this thing, or maybe because their friends does not like it, then it means they too would not like it. But an average person, even on a global level, has not explored enough the options available to them, and so they don't think, or they don't seem to have a clue about what their purpose actually is. Now, let me relate this to something that we can all relate to. There are things and there are activities in your life that you just tried it for the first time, and you're like, "Are you serious? I actually love doing this, right?" You can drop a comment if that
Mm-hmm.
has happened to you before. If you just tried something for the very first time and you're like, "Oh my god, how come I've never done this thing before? It's so lovely." Or you you just like decided to try a new interest. Maybe they even forced you to it. Let's go and play tennis, or let's go and play, or let's go for mountain climbing or something like that. And then you just discover that you actually love this thing, like from the inside of you, you actually genuinely love this thing. But imagine if you never actually went there. You would
Mm-hmm.
not know, and sometimes we tend to expect that our purpose will just fall on us, right? Without we going out there to explore, what is available. Jim Rohn, the great business philosopher, would say that life is a collection of experiences. There are things you shouldn't just miss, right? Go to see the movies, go to the concerts. Maybe your experience in going to the movies will point you to, oh, I think I would want to be a movie director, because I just resonate and I am more interested about how this movie was created than even watching it in the first place. And this is why you see people in the Western world, when they give birth to kids and they, give them so many toys, and they pay attention to the toys that the kids actually, pay more attention to. And they start developing that area of interest for the kid. If it's music, they buy all the musical instruments they can find, because they want to know which one, can this child be so good at, based on their innate ability and interest. But in some part of the world, like Africa, or should I say Nigeria, yeah, this doesn't seem to be the case. They just slap anything on our face that they seem to can afford, and I understand that, but at some point when you now have the ability to choose for yourself, don't get boxed into the cycle, or the places, or the options that society has placed on you. Don't get caged in that trap. Sometimes we tend to function from our upbringing, and we think that's the way we are. It's a lie. That's not the way you are. In fact, all of us were born on a blank slate, right? All the knowledge that we know today did not come when we were just giving birth to. We learned them. And this is why some of the things that and programs, so I call them programs, that we could be running, or that we are running on, could be a lie. And so there's the need to question everything, and sometimes unlearn certain things, and then we learn new things. Because all there is not, or all we think there is not all there is. For example, there are things that we've believed all our life, and then found out that it was a lie. Who
Yeah.
says that we must eat 3 square meal? In fact, 3 is not square. 3 is not square in the first place, right? So there are so many
Yeah.
things we've just believed and say, oh, that's the way it is. No, that's not. Do your own research. Find out for yourself. Question every
Mm.
single thing. In fact, there's a need for critical thinking, even in networking. Yeah. And sometimes when you think well enough, you'll be able to analyze things and say, oh, when I was younger, I actually loved drawing. And then I fell
Mm.
in love with colors. And then I just had this thing for remembering people vividly. Like I can see someone in 5 seconds and describe that person to somebody in detail. And that could just be a pointer. You love to draw, you love colors, you can remember. Maybe you would be a good painter. right? So sometimes we tend to lose these details due to low critical thinking. As you explore, learn to put in the puzzles like, okay, I like this. How can I merge all of this together? Each of our experiences sometimes can be a pointer to our purpose. But the ultimate source and the ultimate guide to navigating our purpose is God. Right. So to answer the question is, if you do not yet know your purpose, whether partially or fully, it's fine to go out there. When you network, maybe it's the person that you would meet that will not take you to somewhere where you will not see or learn something for the first time, and you're not like, oh, I actually love doing this thing, and that can be a pointer to your purpose. Don't limit yourself to the option of, oh, I must go for a retreat, stay with myself for 2 months, and then discover my purpose. For some persons that could work, but that's not the only way. And don't limit yourself to what society has imposed on you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. When you were talking about children that is discover the purpose at early age, it came to me when I was still very young, when I was
Yeah.
between 8 to 10 years. When people ask me, what do you want to be when you grow up? I will say, I want to be a newscaster, also a soldier. The
Yeah.
reason why I said I wanted to become a newscaster, then the reason I really gave was I want to influence change, I want to enlighten people. Why isn't why I want to become a soldier as well, to influence positive change in the society? And at this point of my life, not a newscast, but actually enlighten people. That's what I found myself doing. And
Mm-hmm.
this came to my, it got me thinking, right from when we won, okay, it is in the Bible, God has knew, He already knew our end before we
Yeah.
were conceived in our household. That means right from when we started gaining consciousness, we already actually have a sense of what we are going to be in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So many of us don't just get in tune and be able to align with that when we are. Most times our parents don't discover or did not really pay attention enough, help nurture that. We ourselves, when we grow or when we older, we lost
Yeah.
tune our original self.
Yeah.
And then we start becoming confused and living in concern and in chaos. But everything is already there. Like you said before, already have everything. It's just need to explore and go into critical thinking and reasoning. Thank you so much tonight. It was really an amazing session and I've learned much to be here. I've learned much from this session. And I'm definitely applying
Likewise.
most, not most, everything I've learned. So thank you so much. So it's
Likewise.
just one just minutes to end session. Do you have anything that you would like to share with us around the
Okay. So I would say that I think and believe that the most valuable asset on this planet is a human being. And if you noticed, every single thing that we want in life tends to revolve around people, not things. People make the mistake of chasing things and ignoring people and later figuring out that, oh, it's actually people that things actually get to revolve around.
yeah.
When you have the right people around you, the next thing that you need to actually put to work is the value that you have to offer. And I think I've said a couple of things around, oh, you have to contribute value, you know, if you're going to get value, but sometimes it's a bit dicey, right? Have you not seen those people whereby they tend to know really big people, and you're wondering, for example, they can say, "Oh, Pastor Chris was my classmate," or "Oh, this person,
Yeah.
I know this person," and I'm wondering, when I see those kind of people, what comes to my mind is, what happens to you? How can you say you know this person and your life is like this? Like, how now? Explain, right? So
Yeah.
it's not just enough to know people. It's not who you know, but or it's not just who you know, but who knows you. And you must be
Mm.
able to unlock the value in that relationship. You can know people that have
Yeah.
money and still yet they would not give you a penny, not because they are evil
Mm.
people, but because you've not been able to unlock what they have to offer,
Yeah.
right? So that again, it's a skill in itself. And I'm not saying go about networking with people with the mindset of how you can unlock value and get from them. No. What I'm saying
Yeah.
is, it is also possible to want to be out there and still yet unable to, draw out value from that relationship, because
Mm.
relationship can be transactional or mutual, or sorry,
Mm.
transactional or like one-sided, right, where one person just
Yeah.
give, and the other person burns
Mm.
out and the person disconnects, what they call parasitic relationship.
Yeah.
There's symbiotic and then there's parasitic. Yeah, so when you just get, and the other person is, you know what, I'm done. I'm not doing it again. Right? And then there's the
Yeah.
one where it's symbiotic. One of the things you must learn to do is to ask for help when you need it. And
Mm.
I want you to, or if you're listening to this, please put this into context. Don't meet somebody for the first time and just say, "Oh, yeah, they are now in need of something." That's a red flag. In
Yeah.
fact, sometimes cultivate the relationship long enough that they'll be the one asking you, "If you need help with anything, just reach out to me." Right? And then
Mm-hmm.
you must be, building something worthwhile that can attract their attention to want to invest in it. People invest in people invest in projects.
Yeah.
It's where people that I didn't even know where my work reach out and like, let me send you money to support what you do. But these people have been in my life all this while and they don't send me
Mm.
money, and it's not like I expect them to send me money. But when they see something that I'm doing, I'm like, oh wow, this is cool. They want to invest. You know,
Mm.
you must learn to build things, and just like we mentioned earlier, show your work. So if I were to recommend books, right, um, two books, right, it would be still like an artist when you're just starting out in your, say, your creator journey, right, or you're just trying to explore the options available to you. Still like an artist by Austin Kleon, Kleon. Then the next book is also by him, Show Your Work, right? Those books will transform how you approach value. And then on
Mm.
networking, is what's this book again? The Startup of You. I think I have it here. Oh, I don't know if you can see. Oh, it's reversed. But this how the
Yeah.
book is like. Yeah, The Startup of You. Very wonderful book if you want to explore. Uh, by the co-founder of LinkedIn, right? It's a very wonderful book if you want to explore networking in your career. So it's beyond just connect with people, and all of that. You need to be well invested in it. Know when to ask. Know when to even reject help. There are times where it is
Yeah.
wise to reject help. There are people I
Yeah.
would not call for help because to my mind I'm like, no, I can't be calling you to ask you for something this minute, something this small. When I need you, I know what to call
Mm.
you for, right? I will not, because
Yeah.
the truth is, the more you ask for help, the depending in the context, right? On the context, but you know, when you ask for help too much, people tend to, want to, withdraw like a bit, like, come on now, let you get problem. Yeah. But there are times where you don't ask this person for help because you know how valuable this person can be, right? And when you not have a need for the kind of help that matches this person's reputation or this person's caliber, then you can reach out and they will give it to you once.
Yeah.
People, there's a scripture again that says, "Ask and you shall receive." I think we should
Yeah.
learn the act of asking in networking. How to ask,
Yeah.
when to ask, who to ask. That would be my final words. Thank you.
Thank you so much. What an amazing show with you tonight. It was really a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining tonight. And to our main guest. It was really
Thank you.
I've learned a lot. I know everyone that tuned in and everyone is still going to this later on is going to gain a lot from this. Thank you so much for joining tonight. And I will see you in our next episode on Saturday. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Bye.
Bye.
Right.
Have a wonderful time. Thank you.
You.